Student, in today's lecture, we will talk about the new topic that is the plant growth and mineral nutrition. So, as per your syllabus, this is the topic number 7. Okay, topic number 7. So that topic it is the plant growth and mineral nutrition. So in this topic, the plant growth and mineral nutrition. So remember, student, in this topic there are the two parts. In first part of topic, we will discuss about the plant growth, and in second remaining part of the topic, we will discuss there the mineral nutrition. So see, the first part of this topic, it is the plant growth. Okay, plant growth. So what is the plant growth, or what is meant by the growth itself? You know that what is meant by the growth. You observe everywhere there is a growth. Okay, in case of the living being, you observe the growth. Also, in case of the non-living things, in some non-living things, they also shows the growth. So we will talk about what type of the growth it is seen in a non-living thing. But before that, you are aware with the growth in the sense you are seeing the seedlings, and that seedling they shows their growth day by day, and after the several days, or after the several weeks, or after several months, that the seedling they become a large gigantic tree, or they become a tree. Okay, they become a tree. Right from the beginning up to the formation of that gigantic tree, or that herb or shrub or tree. So, what is meant by the growth, or how we define the growth? But before giving the definition of growth, when the form of the organism it is changed. Okay, it is changed because of the growth. It is changed, no doubt. But we have the final form of that organism. So that form of that organism, with respect to the size, with respect to the weight, or with respect to their volume, we have the final form of that organism. Okay, so that final form, they unable to return back to its initial stage. Okay, to its initial stage, in the sense the growth, what happened because of the growth, in the sense the organism, they attain its final form, they attain the final size, they attain its final volume. It is never changed. Okay, it is never changed. So remember, it is a irreversible change. Okay, it is a irreversible change, and that change, when it is irreversible, in the sense that change, it is a permanent. Okay, that change, it is a permanent. So because of the growth, what we observe there, when the organism they attain its final form, okay, a final form, or they attain the final appearance, that appearance, it is the permanent, and it is irreversible. Okay, permanent, and it is irreversible. So remember, student, you are aware with the growth in our case also, because during the young one, the human being, they are existed in the form of a childhood, or we are in the form of the small baby. Okay, then that baby, they shows the growth. Okay, they shows the growth, and because of that, whatever our final form we observed today, that final form, it is because of the growth. Okay, it is because of the growth. So remember, what we observe today, the final form of our body, that final form, it is permanent one, and it is a irreversible. Means our body, they never pass uh, towards the backward changes. In the sense, our body, it is never converted into the small baby. Okay, it is never converted into small baby. In the sense, whatever we attain our final form, that final form, it is permanent and it is irreversible. Okay, so with respect to this discussion, student, can you give me the definition of the growth, or how we define the growth? So the growth, it is the permanent and irreversible change in the organism. Okay, permanent and irreversible change in the organism. So that so how we define actually what is meant by the growth? First, we are to discuss the definition of growth as per your syllabus. So how they are given there, the definition of growth. See that definition of growth, it is the permanent. Okay, growth, it is a permanent and it is an irreversible increase in the bulk of an organism. Okay, it is increase in the bulk of an organism, and what they form further, accompanied by the change of form. Okay, accompanied by the change of form, in the sense the form of that organism, it is changed because of the growth. Okay, because of the growth, and that form, it is in the form of the weight, it is in the form of the size, or it is in the form of the volume. That form of organism, it is changed, okay, than before. Okay, than before, and that form of organism, it is permanent and it is irreversible. So such a permanent and irreversible change in the form of organism, it is called as the growth. Okay, it is called as the growth. Listen again. There is a permanent and irreversible change in form of organism. In a form of an organism, it is called as a growth. Okay. Then this growth, remember student, this growth, it is concerned with the living organism as well as it is concerned with the non-living thing. So this growth, it is concerned with the living organism. Okay, living organism. Okay, it is concerned with the living organism. So what is that? The growth. Remember, student, the growth, it is seen in the living organism. It is the characteristic feature of the living organism. Okay. Then what type of the growth we call in case of the living organism? That type of the growth, it is called as an intrinsic growth. Okay, it is called as intrinsic growth. Okay, it is an intrinsic growth. Intrinsic growth in the sense that growth is because of the internal metabolic changes. Okay, or it is because of the internal metabolic processes. The growth is same. In case of the living organism, that growth, it is called as the intrinsic growth. Okay, it is called as the intrinsic growth. Then, in case of the non-living organism, okay, in case of the non-living organism, the growth, it is same. Okay, it is same, but that growth, takes place because of the activity of the external environmental factors. Okay, because of the activity of external environmental factors, that growth, it is called as extrinsic growth. Extrinsic growth. Okay, it is called as a extrinsic growth. So remember, in case of the non-living things, suppose I will give the one example. When there is a stone, and when we measure the dimension of this stone, then after some time or after several days, we observe again the dimensions of that stone. Then that stone, they shows the little increase in their dimensions. Okay, that stone, they show the little increase in their dimensions in the sense, the environmental factors like the dust will be there, then the other factors means biotic and abiotic factor will be adhered over the surface of that stone, and because of that stone they show their little increase in their size, in their size. So that type of the growth it is called as a extrinsic growth, means that growth it is because of the external environmental condition, or it is because of the external factors. Okay, so system with growth it is called as a extrinsic growth. And remember, actually we are concerned with the growth in case of the living organism, and that growth it is a intrinsic growth. Okay, that growth it is a intrinsic growth. So you remember this one. Then we observed the two aspects of the growth, that is a quantitative growth and the qualitative growth. So let's say the two aspects of the growth. Okay, the two aspects of the growth. The two aspects of growth. Okay, student, two aspects of growth. The first aspect it is the qualitative growth, and the next aspect it is quantitative growth. Okay, qualitative growth and the quantitative growth, these are the two aspects of the growth. See, what is the qualitative growth? In the qualitative growth, what is seen? Remember, we are talking about the growth in case of the living being. Okay, in case of the living being. So in the living being, there are the two aspects of growth. Okay, there are the two aspects of growth. The first one, it is a qualitative growth. So that qualitative growth, student, it is concerned with the development and the differentiation of the cells. It is concerned with this qualitative growth. It is concerned with the development and the differentiation of the cells. Okay, so such a type of the growth, it is called as a qualitative growth. Okay, it is called as the qualitative growth, means there is a development of the various types of the cell because of the cell division, and after the development of that cell, the formed cell, they get differentiated into the various types of cell in the plant body or in the body of living organism, and further what they form the complex system. Okay, they form the complex system. So whatever required for the formation of complex system in the body of organism, that type of the growth, it is called as a qualitative growth. Okay, it is called as a qualitative growth. Then the next type of the growth, it is a quantitative growth. Okay, quantitative growth. In the quantitative growth, okay, what we consider, that growth we observe externally. Okay, we observe externally. Remember, this qualitative growth we are unable to observe externally. But this quantitative growth we observe externally. So what is that quantitative growth? When there is a increase in length of the plant body. Okay, so the quantitative growth it shows in the form of the length of that organism. Then it also shows in the form of the breadth of that organism. Okay, breadth of that organism, and along with that the size, volume. Okay, size, volume. Okay, size, volume, and along with that it also shows the increase in the body mass of that organism. Okay, increase in the body mass. Okay, mass of organism. Okay, body mass of organism. or we have to say there is an increase in the dry weight, okay, dry weight of that organism, okay, dry weight of that organism. So such a type of the growth, when we observe, no doubt student, we observe there is an increase in length, okay, we observe there is an increase in breadth, okay, breadth of that the organism. Then we also observe the change in size, we also observe the change in volume, okay, and along with that we observe the increase in the body mass of that organism, or we observe the increase in the dry weight of that organism. So such a type of the growth, it is called as the quantitative growth. So remember, in case of the living being, there are the two aspects of growth, the qualitative growth and the quantitative growth. Then next, next to this student, in case of the organism, again we observe the growth into forms, okay, that means the determinate growth and indeterminate growth, okay. So growth we observe in two forms, the determinate growth and indeterminate growth. So there is a the two forms of growth, okay, two forms of growth. The first one, it is determinate, okay, determinate growth, and the second one, it is indeterminate growth. So the determinate growth and the indeterminate growth, these are the two forms of growth. Remember, this determinate growth, okay, determinate growth, this growth, okay, so first one, so in living organism there are the two forms of growth, the determinate growth and indeterminate growth. So what is that? The determinate growth, that is the first one, it is a determinate growth. That growth, it is also called as a limited, okay, limited growth. So student, where in the plant body we observe the limited growth, means which part of plant body they show the limited growth, in the sense beyond that they are unable to divide, or they never changes the form, okay. When that the part of plant body is developed, then from that, beyond that, its development, complete development, their growth is stopped. So that type of the growth, it is called as a determinate growth, or it is also called as a limited growth. So this limited growth, it is seen in case of, example, in case of the fruit, okay, in case of fruit, in case of flower, okay, in case of flower, and in case of the leaf, this growth, it is a limited growth, or that growth, it is called as a determinate growth, okay. Then another type of growth, it is called as an indeterminate growth, okay. Indeterminate means that indeterminate growth, it is a unlimited, okay, unlimited growth, okay, that growth, it is a unlimited growth. This unlimited growth, where it is seen? It is seen in case of the shoot apex, okay, in case of the shoot and the root apex, okay. In the shoot and root apex, we observe the unlimited growth, means growth, they never stop, okay, growth never stop. So throughout the lifetime of the plant body, the growth of the shoot apex and the root apex, it is continuously takes place. So why they continuously takes place, those part we are going to study in detail in later. But remember, at this moment, you are aware with the growth of the shoot apex and the growth of the root apex. There we observe there is a continuous growth in case of the plant, okay. Then what is our interest? Our interest is in case of the indeterminate growth. So in case of the plant, especially in case of the shoot apex and in case of the root apex, why the growth is the indeterminate? Remember, in case of the plant, the growth is indeterminate because of the meristem. Okay, because of the meristem. So what is that meristem? We are going to study in detail about their meristem. Why that meristem it is responsible for showing a such type of the indeterminate growth. So before going toward that, now we will see about the type of meristem in the plant body on the basis of their position, or on the basis of their site, or on the basis of their location. In the plant body, there are the three different types of the meristem. So see, student, the three different types of meristem in the plant body. Okay, three different types of the meristem in the plant body. That meristem, it is responsible for showing the what type of growth. They are responsible for showing the indeterminate growth. Okay, so the three types of meristem. Three types of meristem. Three types of meristems. See, what are those meristem? First, I will give you the names of that meristem. The first one, it is the apical. Okay, apical meristem. Okay, apical meristem. The second type of the meristem, it is the intercalary meristem. Okay, intercalary meristem. Then the third type of meristem, it is called as a lateral meristem. Okay, third one, it is a lateral meristem. So student, these three types of the meristem, it is located at the three different sites of plant body, and because of that, the plant shows the indeterminate growth. Okay, because of that, the plant shows the indeterminate growth. So let's say, suppose where they are situated, these three different types of meristem, no doubt they are situated at the three different sites of the plant body, or they are situated at the three different locations of the plant body. Okay, so what are those locations? So we have to show that location with the help of the one shoot apex. Okay, with the help of the one shoot apex, in the sense with the help of the shoot, we are to represent these three different types of meristem. Suppose I want to draw a very simple diagram. Okay. So this first one, the apical meristem, they are situated at the shoot apex. Okay, they are situated at the shoot apex. So this is the apical meristem. Apical meristem. Apical meristem. Then second type of the meristem, what is this? These are the leaves. Okay, these are the leaves. Okay, so for our convenience, we have drawn the cut petiole of that leaves. But remember, this is the position of the leaf. Then this is, what is this? This is the nodal region. This is the another nodal region. This is the another nodal region. So what is this? This is the node. Okay, as usual, this is the node. Okay, this is also a node. Okay, this is the node. As usual, this is the node. This is node. Then the region between the two nearest node, it is called as internode. So remember, student, this is the internode. This is the internode. So these are the nodes and internodes. So this apical meristem, the first type of meristem, it is situated at the shoot apex, and they are also situated at the root apex. So this is the apical meristem. Okay. Let's see what are the functions of this apical meristem. This remember student, the meristem means it is a tissue. It is actively dividing tissue. They divide continuously throughout the lifetime of the plant body. Okay, means when the plants are living, during those time or those period, that meristematic tissue they divide continuously. They never stop. Okay, they never stop. And such a type of tissue, it is reported only in case of the plant. Okay, only in case of the plant. Especially they are reported in case of the higher plants. Okay, that meristematic tissue, and that tissue they divide continuously throughout the life of the plant body. Okay, so this tissue here they are situated at the shoot apex, so the name is given apical meristem. Remember, what is the function of this apical meristem? Because of the activity of the apical meristem, what happened? The length, okay, length. What happened here? Because of the activity of the apical meristem, the length or the height of the plant body increases. Length or the height of the plant body increases. Means the height or the length of that plant body it is increases towards this direction. Means we observed in the plant there is a continuous growth of shoot apex. Okay, there is a continuous growth of shoot apex. So because of the activity of the apical meristem, the length or the height of that plant body it is continuously increases throughout the lifetime of that plant. Okay, so you remember. So such a type of the growth, it is also called as a primary growth. So this apical meristem, remember, they shows the primary growth. Primary growth. Remember this apical meristem, they shows the primary growth, and along with the increasing length and the height of the plant body, this meristem they also take part in the tissue development and differentiation, or we have to say they also take part in the development of the cells and the differentiation of the cells, along with the increase in length and the height of the plant body. Okay, they take part in the development and the differentiation of the cell. So this is the most important function of the apical meristem. Then student, the next meristem, it is called as an intercalary meristem. So what is that intercalary meristem? This intercalary meristem, they are situated at the nodal region. But where they are situated? They are situated at the base of node. So suppose this is a node, this is node, this is node, this is another node. So what is the situation of this the intercalary meristem? They are situated slightly lower side of this node. Okay, so they are situated here. They are situated here. Okay, they are also situated here, just toward the base of the node. At the base of the node. So this meristem, it is called as the intercalary meristem. Okay, it is a intercalary meristem. This is a second type of meristem. Remember student, this intercalary meristem, what is the function of the intercalary meristem? This intercalary meristem, it is reported maximally in case of the monocot, where it shows the maximum nodes and internode. So such type of the stream it is seen in case of the monocot. So the intercalary meristem, because of the activity of intercalary meristem, they take part in increasing the internodal distance of the plant body. So this internodal distance, it is increases because of the activity of the intercalary meristem. Means it increases. Okay, increase the internodal distance. Okay, it increases the internodal distance. This is the main function. Along with that, what they take part in the formation of, the leaf primordia and the lateral branch. So remember, the leaf primordia and the lateral bud, it is formed because of the intercalary meristem. So this intercalary meristem, you know that at the nodal region, there is a development of a leaves. Okay, there is a development of a such a type of the leaves. It is developed at the nodal region. You know that. So formation of the lateral bud and the leaf primordia. So the formation of the lateral bud, okay, lateral bud and the leaf primordia. It is because of the activity of the intercalary meristem. So the formation of the lateral bud, and along with that the leaf primordia. Okay, leaf primordia. It is due to the activity of intercalary meristem. So what is that lateral bud? Lateral bud आपण त्याला तो डोळा असं म्हणतो की जो डोळा नेहमी तुम्ही स्टेम मध्ये जर पाहिलं तर हा जो पेटिओल आहे, पानाचा देठ आहे, ह्या पानाच्या देठाच्या या अँगल मध्ये येतो, त्याला आपण ऍक्सिलरी बड असंही म्हणतो. सो देर इज if the formation of lateral bud, it is due to the activity of intercalary meristem, and there is also a formation of at the initial stage the leaf primordia. Leaf primordia in the sense leaf bud आपण असं म्हणतो की ज्याच्यापासून पुढे जाऊन लीफ तयार होतं, त्याला आपण लीफ प्रायमॉर्डिया असं म्हणतो. म्हणजे असं लीफ तयार होतं, पण लीफ हे डायरेक्टली असंच नसतं तिथे, तर सुरुवातीला बर्ड फॉर्म मध्ये असतं आणि त्या बर्ड च पुन्हा लीफ फॉर्म होतं. लक्षात येत आहे? सो द लीफ इट इज डेव्हलप्ड फ्रॉम द बर्ड लाईक स्ट्रक्चर. That bird-like structure is called as a leaf primordia. So that leaf primordia and the lateral bud, it is formed due to activity of the intercalary meristem. So this is the second type of the meristem, that is a lateral meristem. And this is the second type of meristem. It is called as the intercalary meristem. Okay, it is not a lateral; it is an intercalary meristem. Then the third type of the meristem, lateral meristem. So what is that lateral meristem? So student, that lateral meristem, they are located all along the lateral side of the stem, all along the lateral side of stem. And this lateral meristem, it is seen in case of angiosperm, and also it is seen in case of the gymnosperm. Okay, in case of the angiosperm and the gymnosperm. In the previous member, means in case of the pteridophyta, it is not reported. Okay, so you remember this lateral meristem, it is seen in case of the angiosperm and in case of the gymnosperm, and they are situated all along its lateral side. Okay, so this is the stem, and what is the lateral side? This is the lateral side. So this is the position of the lateral meristem. So this is the position of the lateral meristem. So this is the lateral, okay, lateral meristem. The lateral meristem, they are of two types. Okay, two types of the lateral meristem. The first one, it is the vascular cambium. Okay, vascular cambium. This is the first type of lateral meristem. The another type of lateral meristem, it is called as the cork cambium. Cork cambium. So the lateral meristem, there are two types: the vascular cambium and the cork cambium. Then what is the function of this lateral meristem? Remember, because of the activity of this lateral meristem, what happened? The girth or the diameter of the plant body increases. Okay, girth or the diameter. So because of this activity of this meristem, the girth or the diameter, म्हणजे इथं हे जे स्टेम आहे, हे स्टेम जर सुरुवातीला हे चॉक साईज असेल तर ते पुढे पुढे वाढत जाऊन ते मोठं होतं. जसं आंब्याचं स्टेम त्याचं रोपटं असताना हे पेन्सिलिन थिकनेस असतं, पण ज्यावेळेस ते स्टेम जे आहे ते आंब्याचं ज्यावेळेस झाड होतं त्यावेळेस तुमच्या लक्षात येत असेल की त्या स्टेमचं जो गर्थ आहे किंवा त्याचा जो डायमीटर आहे तो डायमीटर किती वाढलेला असतो आणि तो जो डायमीटर आहे तो वाढतो. तो कशामुळे वाढतो? बिकॉज ऑफ द ऍक्टिव्हिटी ऑफ व्हॅस्क्युलर कॅम्बियम अँड द कॉर्ड कॅम्बियम, अँड दीज आर द एक्झाम्पल्स ऑफ द लॅटरल मेरिस्टेम. So student, what we are discussed here, we are discussed the how why the indeterminate growth it is seen. Indeterminate growth it is seen in the plant body. That indeterminate growth means it is a unlimited growth, and that unlimited growth it is seen because of the meristematic tissue, or because of that meristem. So what is that meristem? The meristem means it is a actively dividing cells present in the plant body, and they divide throughout the lifetime of the plant. They continuously divide, they never stop. So because of such type of the meristem in the plant body, the plant shows the such type of the indeterminate growth, especially in case of the shoot apex and the root apex. Okay, so on the basis of the location of the meristem, there are three types. That is apical meristem, intercalary meristem, and the lateral meristem. And also we are seeing there what are the functions of these three different types of the meristem. And I think you understand well with respect to its function, how in case of plant the growth it is indeterminate in case of the shoot apex and in case of the root apex. So with this student we will stop at this moment.